Hi everybody! We're back again with another musical mornings. Look at my paper. It has a footprint now. This is really going to be fun for me. I'm enjoying this. So, we are at a piano shop this morning because there are a lot of people who've decided this time at home is a great time to learn a new instrument. So we thought maybe we'd come and see a piano store. So we're here at Piano Pros up in Westchester, and I hope they're open. All right, let's check it out. Oh, good. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Welcome to Piano Pros.
Thank you so much. I brought
Great to
some
have you here.
friends with me today, and we were hoping we could maybe look at some of your pianos.
Oh yeah, come on in. We've got quite a few pianos, and they come in all different sizes and colors. They're all about the same shape, though.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's so shiny. Look at that. It looks. How do you polish them every day? Do you wash them? What do you do?
No, not every day. You're not supposed to polish them or shine them every day, and then occasionally you can just use a damp cloth to wipe off a shiny piano like that.
They're so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, there's quite a few, and they're all good instruments.
Yeah.
There is a fellow back here playing the piano, but I don't think we'll bother him too
okay,
much.
we probably will be okay. Look at this design here on this. Isn't that just so fancy? Wow. Oh, here's a white piano. I don't think I've ever seen a white piano before.
Well, they're around.
I guess so. Look at that. Goodness. It's kind of like a maze here. There are so many pianos. How many pianos do you have in this store?
Total on the premises about 65.
Oh my
actually.
gosh.
Yeah, 65 to 70.
Wow. And there are all these, what do you call this? The kind that are big, but they're not super small.
Well, these are anything that has a lid like this,
Lids,
that
yeah.
opens like this, is a grand piano.
Oh, a grand piano. Okay.
And then there's also pianos that sit against the wall,
Uh-huh.
which are called upright or vertical pianos.
I see. That's a little easier to fit in a house most of the time, I guess.
Right. Yeah, the grand pianos do take up a bit more room.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Is that Mike Chertok?
Is that Elizabeth?
How are you doing?
Good.
Mr.
How are you
Chertok?
doing?
It's so
I'm
good to
sending
see
you
you.
an elbow
We'll do a little
through
elbow
there.
thing. It's great to
Hello.
see you. Are you here looking at pianos today?
I am. Mr. Common, I hope you don't mind that I snuck into your store here. I figured there wouldn't be too many people here this morning.
No, I was
check
just
out.
wondering how you managed to do that.
Well, I'll fix that window later.
Oh no.
Just kidding, everybody.
Goodness. Well, since you're here, could we talk to you a little bit about pianos?
I love talking about
That's
pianos.
fantastic.
Let's
I'm going to
do
scoot
it.
over here just a little bit so we can
Okay.
all be on the screen. So, if you don't know my friend Mike, this is Michael Chertok, and he has a pretty cool job. Do you want to tell him about what you do?
Sure. I teach piano at CCM. That's the College Conservatory of Music, which is one of the really great conservatories
Really
in
good
America,
one.
in the world. And I have the honor of playing keyboard in the Cincinnati Symphony, along with my good friend Julie Spangler, who plays in the Cincinnati Pops. And the Cincinnati Symphony and Pops are just among the really great orchestras in the world.
They're fantastic, and I hear rumors that sometimes you get to play piano in other countries.
Yes, I do, and I love doing that, but I also love coming back to good old Cincinnati.
That's so neat. So I like playing piano, not as good as it is you are, but what makes you interested in piano? Why did you start playing?
Oh, wow. When I was a kid, my mom bought a piano for our house when I was 9 years old, and she felt like everybody in the house was going to play. But the problem is there's only one of them.
Oh, no.
And I discovered very early, as the oldest child, if I was practicing the piano, Mom or Dad didn't ask me to do chores. They didn't check. Basically, if you were playing the piano, you were okay. You could just keep doing it. And I found that's sort of the same way with my kids. If one of them is practicing the piano, I don't usually bother them too much. I figure, what harm can they be coming to? Then when I was about 14 or 15 years old, I heard my piano teacher in Guam play a really hard piece. It started like this. And I had never seen anything like that up close.
Wow.
And I was completely taken by it and just thought, I want to do this. And I began to practice a whole lot of hours a day, all the way through junior high school and high school.
Wow. So you play now, of course, professionally. You're all over the place. But I'm kind of interested in what a piano, how it works, because
Yes.
it's such a big instrument. We don't get to see really big instruments very much in peanut butter and jam concerts, and we hardly ever get to look super close at them. So
Let's take
what
a
can you
look
tell us
here
about
at
that?
this instrument. Almost everybody knows that you make sounds on the piano by pressing the keys. And I'm going to start here with one of my favorites. It's middle C, and you can usually find it in that the name of the instrument just goes right down here to middle C. I press this key, but now if you'll move in here, you will see that a hammer strikes the string, and a damper lifts that allows the tone to keep ringing. And as soon as I let it go, the damper goes back on and the sound stops. Now there's a neat trick you can do on the piano with the pedal. Usually there are 3 pedals. Take a look down here. And the pedal on the right, I'm going to put my foot on it. That's why it's called a pedal. And if you'll come back here to the inside of the piano, watch this. All the dampers are off the strings. So any notes that I press stay ringing. Now, a very smart kid asked me once, well, why would you ever take the pedal off? It sounds so pretty that way. Just let everything ring. But then what happens is if you'd never change the pedal, you get a really cloudy sound. So what I have to do is change the pedal with each sound. Even when I'm playing my little favorite song here, I move the pedal on almost every melody note. I sometimes tell my students, you have to move your foot like it's a butterfly's wing. Sometimes really fast. If you're playing something quick, I almost shake the pedal a little bit. I hope Mr. Cotman doesn't mind that. Now, what about the other pedals? The pedal on the left makes the sound very, very soft. We call it the una corda, which is Italian for one string. Now, take a look what happens inside the piano when we put the left pedal on. Watch this. Here we go. Did you see? Oh, you got to watch the hammers all slide over, and they hit the strings on the side so that the sound is very soft. Now, I'm going to scooch here to another piano, a beautiful brown Steinway, to try out the middle pedal. And I hope it works great. Sometimes pianos surprise me with their middle pedals. I'm going to believe that this one is going to work, because the middle pedal is the strangest and most wondrous of all. When you play a note and you put on the middle pedal, it holds that note, but it doesn't really hold any of the others. You know what? I'm going to try this one over here. Sometimes middle pedals are like dogs. You always know what your cats are going to do, but sometimes dogs can surprise you. All right, I'm going to try this. There we go. So you can do all sorts of interesting tricks with the middle pedal. Watch this. I'm going to silently depress these notes and hold down the middle pedal. And then watch what happens. It's like ghost sounds.
It's like an echo.
Yeah. Or you can go, hello.
Can you hear
Put the
the
camera
echo? I wonder if
really
you can hear
close.
it.
You'll love it. Hello. I don't know if you can hear it at home, but you can almost hear the word echoing on the wires. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. By the way, these strings inside here are what really make the sound. These strings here. So if I press a low note, the hammer hits the string and the string vibrates. In fact, you can even make sounds with just the strings alone. That's a scary sound. This is kind of a prettier sound. I'm pressing keys with my hands and making almost a guitar sound.
Oh, yeah, that kind of, because guitars have strings too, and like a harp too, right?
Yes, very much like harp. Some composers even write even right for you to pluck the strings inside.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, you should ask the owner of the piano if you're allowed to do it, because some owners of the piano do not like people touching the strings inside. Mr. Cotman's starting to look a little thoughtful, so I'm going to quit doing that.
If you need to see a better side without the music
yeah.
desk.
Oh, it might be easier to see over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. What are these right here? What are all those silver things?
I'm going to use really simple words, if you
Great.
don't mind. I'm going to
Please
call
do.
these for right now just the knobs or like tuning pegs.
Uh-huh.
And they hold the string in place, and a tuner would actually adjust these to tune the piano. Pianos tend to go out of tune over a month or two or a couple of months, depending on how much they're played.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time, people in their home have their piano tuned every 6 months. If your instrument is being used a lot, much more often is better. Sometimes at the symphony, we tune the piano almost every day.
Oh,
It's
wow.
amazing.
And you tune it to make sure the notes sound right.
Is
Is
to
that-
make sure the notes sound absolutely clear
Oh,
and
okay.
not something like that.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But every piano design looks different on the inside. Do you have a favorite design for the pianos inside, like the way they space out these acoustic circles and things like that?
Well, that's all a function, part of the construction of the piano. A lot of people will call this a harp because if you look at it, it's
Yeah,
got
it
a
sort of
gold
has a
color, and if you
harp
took it out of
shape.
there and set it on its side, it would look like a harp. But it's actually a cast iron plate.
Wow.
And those holes serve two things. Number one, they do allow some sound to come up from the soundboard, which is in there underneath. The soundboard's underneath the strings and throughout the entire piano. It also allows the cast iron to cool after it comes out of the furnace to cool evenly and not keep from cracking the cast iron, that kind of thing. And the plate is gray when it comes out,
Oh, wow.
and it has to be finished with this color, so it doesn't come out looking like this at all.
If I'm remembering correctly, this is a grand piano, but you have a concert grand piano, a Steinway D
Oh.
inside one of the other rooms.
You mean there's some that are bigger than this?
There's one that's even bigger than this.
Wow. Oh, can we see that bigger one?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes, we do. Come on over this
Take
way.
us there,
Let's
Mr.
follow,
K.
yeah. Wow. All right. It really is a maze back here with all these pianos. I feel like we're.
Yeah, it takes a while to get to use breadcrumbs to find your
Do you
way
ever
back
get lost?
out.
I feel like he knows his way around pretty well. Goodness. Oh, there's a whole another room back here. Let's see.
These are some of the bigger,
Sure.
dare I say, better pianos, but
Oh my goodness, this one's
wow.
so big. How long is this piano?
this is 9 feet
Wow.
from front to the very back.
And the smaller ones, how big are they?
This one is 7 foot.
Okay.
That's a little under 6. The one in the corner there is 6.5, and then the one on the right is 6'2", and the one in the middle there is 5'2". But it's got a big sound for a small piano.
This is huge.
Wow. You've got Kawais, Baldwins, Bohemias, Yamahas, Steinways. You've got plenty of
So many
Steinways.
different,
Wow.
different styles. Wow.
This is amazing. Oh, look at what I found left on the piano here. Does anybody know who this is? This gentleman, Beethoven, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of his birth. If he were still with us today, he'd be 250 years old. His name is
Wow.
Beethoven. He wrote lots of music. And the amazing thing is, when he was in his 30s, he lost most of his ability to hear, and eventually he could scarcely hear at all, and he still wrote incredible music. He overcame so many things.
Incredible. I have a feeling you might play us some of his music in a minute here.
Oh, I know a little bit of Beethoven here and there.
You know what I've been kind of thinking about lately with music, and I think probably one of the things you really like about it too, is that music really helps us express our emotions really well, and it helps us just maybe sometimes understand our emotions a little bit better. So I was wondering if you might help us play some different emotions on the piano.
Oh.
So maybe what we could do, I'm going to move this out of the way just a little bit so we have a little bit more space here. But I was wondering maybe, Michael, if you could play a happy song, and maybe my friends at home, we could do a happy dance while he plays the happy song. Would that be okay with you all? Good. Would that be okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to do some happy, and you can do the happiest dance you want at home. So stand up and get ready to go. Here we go. All right. Thank you so much. That makes me feel so much happier. And I know when I'm in a bad mood sometimes, it's really great to play some happy music and it sort of cheers you up, right?
That was indeed a happy dance. Very good.
I really do miss dancing with my friends. It's a lot more fun. But sometimes too, though, if I'm in kind of a sad mood, sometimes listening to sad music helps me feel a little bit better. It seems a little strange, right? But sometimes just feeling that sadness is okay. And to hear the sadness sort of helps a little bit. Do you have any sad songs that you might want to play for us?
I do. That first song I just played was known often by its nickname, Ode to Joy. This is something Beethoven wrote, which is known by another nickname, the Moonlight Sonata. Oh. And to me, it sounds very sad.
Okay, maybe our friends at home, would it be okay if you did maybe a sad dance, or you could do a very slow walk, or you know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to rock back and forth for this one. But you can do whatever works for you. So we're going to sit down and maybe rock quietly for this. Sometimes to hear that sad music when you're feeling a little sad. Do you feel the same way sometimes?
Gets it out of you.
It does, yeah, it helps. Now, these are a little bit harder, but there are other emotions we have, right? So sometimes I feel really angry and I want to go out of the house and I can't, or I just am mad. Do you have any angry music?
Yes, and Beethoven definitely got angry sometimes. Sometimes he got a little too angry.
Oh, no.
Once he was in a restaurant with his friends, and he felt that the waiter was not taking him seriously. And he took his plate of food and he threw it.
Oh, no. I hope none of our friends ever do that.
Yeah, needless to say, he was not allowed back in that restaurant again.
Not.
No, not a good idea. But other times he expressed his anger through his music, which was more successful.
That's a much better way. So I think maybe for this one, children, what we can do, friends at home, is we can either do an angry dance, or I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stomp back and forth. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to walk that way, and I'm just going to stomp with my angriest feet.
Now, Elizabeth, this piece is angry for a moment, and then you think it's not angry, and then he gets angry again.
Oh, okay, so I'll change my mind as we'll figure it out. We'll go as we go. Are you ready? You can stomp with me at home, I hope. very angry, right? I like that one. That's just, it has a lot of energy to it. Get some of that energy out. Ooh. And what about, I know some of our friends at home have been feeling kind of scared lately.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if we have something for when you're just feeling a little nervous.
Oh, I like sometimes to get scared at certain times of the year. It's fun to get scared, especially around Halloween, trick-or-treating time. And this is a piece of music by a composer named Bach that he wrote for the organ, but I'm going to play a little bit on the piano, called a toccata. And some people think it's kind of fun, scary.
Okay, so I think maybe what we can do with this one is we'll sort of be sneaky and tiptoe. And if you get too scared, you go find your grown-up and give them a great big hug. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. That's a really fun one to be scared to, though. I like that piece of music. And finally, I mean, some of our kids at home have been feeling very, very silly lately. Do you have a silly song that you can play for us?
I know some kids in my house that have been a little bit silly lately.
Oh, I'm excited. So for silly, maybe what we can do is just the silliest dance you can think of, or just sit at home and make some silly faces.
All right.
You have an idea?
Take a listen to this.
As the song went on. That's really, really fun.
It's by Grieg, and it's called In the Hall of the Mountain King. And the hero of the story, Peer Gynt, is being chased by trolls.
Oh no! And you know, my friends at home, what I'm going to do is after I leave here today and I get home, I'm going to take all of these songs that Michael played for us and I'll put them on our Spotify playlist that's linked into the comments. And so you can do all these same activities later on today if you want to. You can be scared or happy or whatever you want to do all over again. It'll be really, really fun with the recordings. And Michael, I know you love piano so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a piece that you just really love and would like to share with the children?
Sure I do. Cincinnati is a city that's on a big river, and one of my favorite old spirituals, it's a real American classic, is Deep River. Oh. And it's in one of my favorite keys, D flat major, so I get to use lots of the rich, beautiful black keys on the piano, not just the white keys. I love this song.
Okay, I'd love to hear it. teared up a little bit. That was so beautiful. Thank you for
very
sharing
much.
that with us today.
Thank you.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Great pleasure to be with you here today in this room full of pianos and a building full of pianos. This is like my idea of a very fun place to be.
You kind of look like a boy in a candy store.
Exactly. It's like
around.
leaving me alone with the kids' Halloween candy. This is so fun.
So Ginger, I'm wondering, have there been any questions for Michael that have come through? Or
There has.
Okay, let's hear them.
So, Haley wants to know if you can play Let It Go.
Let It Go. Oh, is that from
it's from that movie.
Frozen? Let me think. Doesn't it start? And all I remember besides that is there's one line, "The cold never bothered me anyway."
I love that
yes.
line.
My kids were a little old by the time the movie, so I've only heard the song a couple times, but I'm pretty sure that's how it starts. So I would need to get the music to do the whole thing. But I think the refrain goes, "Let it go, go, let, hold
Turn away.
Away and slam the door.
Yes. So I kind of know it. I know it a little bit. I'll bet you know it, Haley, better than I do. Yes.
How long ago was the piano invented?
Oh, that's a great question. The piano was invented in the 1700s, and credit is almost always given to an Italian named Bartolomeo Cristofori. And then a German instrument builder named Silvermann made some amazing, I guess we call it improvements to the piano. And some really famous composers said, this instrument is cool. It was first called the piano forte, which in Italian means soft and loud because of how easy it was to play softly and loudly on the instrument. Good question.
What would be a good size for a first piano in our home?
Oh, I think the piano should grow with the student. And I generally recommend we start with a smaller instrument, and then if the student starts practicing a lot and they grow as a musician, and some of them grow taller, then the instrument can get bigger with them. I started on a nice spinet, and when I was in high school, my parents did get me a grand piano, and I'm always thankful to them for that. It was a big sacrifice.
But a spinet is one of the uprights?
Or a spinet or an upright. Well, it's nice to start with a piano that not too big at the beginning, and then maybe bigger as we get going, and bigger and bigger and bigger.
But you want to make sure you get one with all the keys.
Oh, yes.
Not a keyboard or something. Is that a good option for families?
It depends on the situation. If a child is practicing, any option to me is good. I find sometimes for building those young muscles, having a piano can be a very, very good thing when it's possible. And I see a lot of pianos here that look like they would like to have a happy home in a house with maybe some children and grown-ups to practice that.
I'm sure. There's a wide variety.
Yes, there is. Look at that. Here's a piano right here. I think could be a wonderful instrument for somebody to start on. Look how easy it is to play. Sometimes the keys on a smaller instrument are lighter and easier for small fingers to play. By the time you get to the bigger instruments, you kind of got to put your back into it a little more to get pianos to sound. This instrument would take a nice room to hold it.
Yeah.
In fact, if Mr. Kottman isn't looking, I may put it on top of my car and take it home later.
Do we have any more questions?
We do not. That's it.
All right. Well, before we leave, Michael, you've taught us so much wonderful music today. Would it be okay if we taught you a song?
Please.
All right. I wonder maybe if we could get our other friend over here to hold the phone, because Ginger loves singing this song with me. I know. All right. So the song, it's our hand washing song, and everyone has to practice it every single day. So we're really working on making sure everybody in the city knows this song. So I hope you can sing it with me at home. Are you ready? It goes like this.
Hands a-washing, wash them till they're clean. Get some water, get some soap, and wash them till they're clean. Hands a-washing, wash them till they're clean. Get some water, get some soap, and wash them till they're clean. Hands a-washing, wash them till they're clean. Get some water, get some soap, and wash them till they're clean. Always the towel to pat and dry is on a rack, it's much too high. So now we'll have to shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them. Now we'll have to shake them, shake them, shake them till they're dry. Now we'll have to shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them. Now we'll have to shake them, shake them, shake them till they're dry. Woo!
That is a hand washing
It's
song.
a great hand washing song, and it sounded like you picked it up so quickly. I'm really impressed.
It makes me want to like wash my whole arms and hands.
I think you
everything.
should. We're going up our
Yes.
arms and our hands and inside our fingers. That we're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's
That's a
taking
great
good care of
song.
themselves, but
Very
all
good.
right. So my friends, I think that's about all we have for you today. Unless there have been any questions that came in. Any last minute questions? Did you see them? Go check. Did you?
I'd have to.
Make sure. If you do have more questions, then you're welcome to ask them, and I'll get them to Michael, and he'll answer them soon for us. Also, tomorrow we're going to be making rain sticks at home, so you need a paper towel holder and some aluminum foil and some rice, maybe some duct tape. I'll put the list on the event for tomorrow, but the paper towel holder is the big thing that everyone's going to want to make sure they save if they have one. So, I think that's all. Are we ready to go?
Yes.
All right, everybody say bye, Michael. Bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
And thanks
Bye,
for letting us
Ginger.
come into Piano Pros
Bye, Miss
today.
Mama.
Thank you so much. See ya.